Hello, you're welcome. In this video, I want to show you how you can generate random numbers as well as sequential numbers using Excel. So the first function that we're going to be using for this is the RAND function. So I will demonstrate it here with RAND. So I will start with RAND. And once I close this and enter, you see that a random number has been generated, which is between 0 and 1. So I can actually copy this down, and you see that it populates it randomly with different numbers, and these numbers are between 0 and 1. Now, what if we want numbers that are between 0 and 10 or between 0 and 100? How will we do this? So I can just clear this. What we are going to do in such a situation is just to multiply by that number that we want it to be between. So let's take, for example, we want to have numbers from between zeros and 10 to be randomly generated. I'll enter RAND and then multiply by 10. So this gives me numbers between zeros and 10. Okay. I can also do this for zeros and 100. So if I do for zeros and 100, if I copy it down, you see that it gives me numbers that are between zeros and 100. Okay, so it generates them randomly. Another function that also exists is the RANDBETWEEN. So if I do RANDBETWEEN, I'm able to provide a bottom number and a top number, which gives me values between the bottom and the top number, as well as the bottom and the top number inclusive. Okay, so let's take, for example, I add 1 as my bottom and 10 as my top. So it gives me values between 1 and 10. And what I mean by this inclusive is that we can still have 10 appear. Okay, so when we generate randomly. So let's see. So you can see that 10 appears here as we generate randomly, as well as 1. So it generates between 1 and 10 with the values inclusive as well. Then next that we're going to see about the random generation is the RANDARRAY. So RANDARRAY generates an array randomly. Okay, so if I enter RANDARRAY, so there are options here. I can choose to only enter this, okay, or just enter the columns. Now, if I want to enter row only, I can just put I need 7 rows. So you can see it generates numbers for me based on these 7 rows. Okay, and they are all random. Now I can choose to add more options. So here I just want 1 column. So I can just add another comma to go after it. And then the minimum value, as you can see, the minimum value here is 0. But now I want it to be 2. So I enter 2. Then my maximum value, I want 10. I can choose whether I want decimal or integer. So let me just choose decimal and enter. So you can see it gives me values between 2 and 10, and we have 7 rows here. Then it provides me decimal numbers. So I can actually change this. Can change this by using the same rand array. This time around, I need 6 rows and 3 columns. The minimum I want is 10, and the maximum I want is 100. Then I do not want decimal this time, I just want integers. So I enter true. So you can see what is being returned. It randomly generates these numbers, and the numbers are between 10 and 100. Now, the final thing that I want to show you is how you can generate sequential numbers. So we use the sequence function. So if I have sequence here, so I have these very arguments: rows, columns, start, and step. So row is the one that is actually required here. The others are optional. So for rows, I can just enter 6, and you can see it gives me sequential number for 6, 1 to 6. Okay, if I enter 10 here, it does the same for me. Now, this may not be just what I want. I may want both rows and columns. So I need 5 rows and I need 3 columns. And my start, I want to start with 10 and then step it by 5. Okay. As I enter, you now see I start with 10, then I'm stepping by 5. I have 3 columns here. I have 5 rows. So you see 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on. And this is just it about how you can generate random numbers as well as sequential numbers using Excel as your tool. I hope you've been able to find this video helpful. If you have, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.